Hazleton Mayor Joe Iannuzzi has filed a civil action against Hazleton City Council, and it's our top story tonight. Good evening. This is WYLN's Late Edition, Greater Hazleton's only local news broadcast for Monday, May 12th, 2014. I'm Ann Gownley. More budget disputes in Hazleton between Mayor Joe Iannuzzi and City Council. Last Thursday, Hazleton Mayor Joe Iannuzzi filed a civil action against City Council in the Court of Common Pleas, asking the court to have the city run on the administration's budget. The difference is just $18,000 from a $9.8 million budget. Hazleton City Council is following one budget and Mayor Joe Iannuzzi is following another, and both parties say each budget is legal. Last week, City Council presented a resolution to enact a mandamus action against Iannuzzi. Iannuzzi answered just 2 days later by filing a civil action against the city and council members challenging council's budget. Iannuzzi says he is filing the suit as a taxpayer of the city and not as the mayor. He will be using money out of his own pocket for legal fees. Iannuzzi says council's budget that was passed in February is illegal, and therefore the city is following the administration's budget that was passed in December of last year. He spoke about some of the major issues.
They have some illegal charges in there for the controller. That's illegal because the controller's been abolished in this plan of government. And they have cuts in there for about 8 people on my staff who are non-union people, which I think is totally illegal. And I think that these people could challenge it, and this would cost the city and taxpayers a lot of money if they challenge that, because they only picked 8 out of 100 and some employees. They picked just these 8 people and cut their salaries.
According to Iannuzzi, council presented and approved a budget as amended, which was not balanced and therefore, he says, is illegal.
There's so much wrong with this budget that if we get to court, I know we're going to win this one.
Iannuzzi also hopes that if the case goes to court, council will use money out of their own pockets and not put the burden on the taxpayers.
To defend themselves, I think they should pay for it themselves rather than put it on the taxpayers. But even a better solution is to compromise. Go with the one we negotiated and get it over with, and then watch me like a hawk that they're supposed to and see that I don't use the money improperly.
Although the mayor and his lawyers filed the paperwork last Thursday in court, he says he has tried for months to meet with council to avoid court hearings. I
asked council 3 times in over 2 months to meet with me. The first time Jackie Monday met and with Jeff Cassat. That was no good. Then the second time I met with Dave Sosar, which we came to an agreement, sort of. He went back to Jackie, and Jackie said no again. So finally I met with Jeff Cassat, and Jeff Cassat seemed reasonable too, like Dave, and we talked it out. And the budget's so close, it's ridiculous. It's only $18,000 apart, and theirs is $18,000 more than mine. So why don't we just settle what we negotiated and get it over with? And that's what I was asking them to do.
City Council will meet again on May 21st. No word if Council will continue with the legal proceedings. A third alarm fire in Whitehaven around 7:30 this morning on Towanda Street. The fire began at 223 Towanda Street and quickly spread to 225 Towanda Street. When firefighters arrived on scene, the home was fully engulfed in flames. The fire on Towanda Street was just about 1 block from the fire station. Whitehaven Deputy Fire Chief Mike Dotter spoke with WYLN this afternoon about the blaze.
Okay, we got a report of structure fire this morning. Arrived on scene. One house was heavily involved. Second house was partially involved when we arrived. There was damage to a third house, siding melted. One house has heavy damage to it. The other one sustained heavy damage to one side of it, but a lot of smoke and water damage inside that house also. Multiple departments were requested due to being a daytime fire on a Monday morning. Extreme heat, we had to keep on rotating guys out to try to keep them cool and keep them safe.
Daughters said that the fire at 225 Towanda Street was difficult to extinguish because it was burning between the walls. The deputy chief said that the fire began at the back of 223. The homeowner said it sounded like rocks hitting the side of her home. The home at 221 Towanda Street had melted siding damage in the back of the home. Firefighters from Weatherly, Freeland, West Hazleton, Mountaintop, Hazel Township, Valley Regional, and several other departments battled the blaze for nearly 3 hours. One firefighter did hurt his hand at the fire, but is said to be okay. The fire is still under investigation. Today, a former mayor of Hazleton was laid to rest with hundreds coming out to pay their respects. Mayor John Ford died Thursday evening. Today, hundreds came to the Mass of Christian Burial, which was held at Our Lady of Grace Church in Hazleton at 10 a.m. Hazleton and Hazel Township fire departments raised their ladders in honor of Ford. The hearse carrying his body passed underneath the American flag on its way to the cemetery. Ford served as mayor from 1986 to 1988. At that time, a new form of government began in Hazleton, and Ford then assumed a role on city council until 1990. Ford also served on many committees on the national level for the Republican Party. He was also the owner of Hazleton Standard Fuel. We here at WYLN would like to send our condolences to Mayor Ford's family. 6 people were arrested in Beaver Meadows Saturday following a traffic stop, 3 of which were deported back to Mexico. A vehicle driven by 42-year-old Uriel Nito was stopped for speeding on Berwick Street by Beaver Meadows Police Chief Mike Morisi and Patrolman Matt Williams Saturday night. Inside the car were 5 others who were identified as 39-year-old Walter Oswaldo Martinez Martin, 47-year-old Wilhelmina Perez, 50-year-old Miguel Avila Rodriguez, 42-year-old Claravinda Medina, and 41-year-old Martha Nito, all from the Reading area and were driving to Hazleton. After obtaining information from each passenger, Williams and Morisi had the Carbon County Communications Center run an IEQ inquiry on all 6 individuals. Informant specialist with the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, Melissa Martin, said that one of the males, Martinez, was wanted by ICE for a re-entry violation and that he was previously deported in 2004. All 6 were taken into custody and fingerprinted via live scan at State Police Barracks in Hazleton, and it was discovered that all of them were in the country illegally. Agent Harris informed Morisi and Williams to release Uriel Nito because he has an immigration court hearing in the near future. They were also instructed to release Rodriguez and Medina. Those 3 were taken back to Reading from barracks in Hazleton. Martha Nito, Martinez, and Perez were taken to the county prison to be housed until ICE detainers could pick them up. Upon arrival, officers were told by the deputy warden that the 3 could not be housed at the prison. Morisi made contact with Carbon County Commissioner Thomas Gerhard, who, according to the press release, was able to make a few telephone calls and have the 3 suspects stay at the prison. The 3 were picked up by ICE detainers Sunday morning. Martha Nito and Perez were deported back to Mexico, and Martin was deported back to Guatemala. Police in Wilkes-Barre are investigating the death of a 25-year-old woman at the Sherman Hills housing complex. According to police, the female was found in an apartment on Sunday around 2:30 in the afternoon. Wilkes-Barre police said that there does not appear to be any signs of foul play, and an ambulance crew and a county coroner were called to the scene. The name of the female has not yet been released. Sherman Hills has been the scene of many incidents in 2013. The complex is currently being sold. A woman in Wilkes-Barre was threatened with a machete early Monday morning by a man, again at the Sherman Hills apartment complex. Police say 30-year-old Craig Davis was arrested and charged with aggravated assault and simple assault. The victim, Jeanette Ciario, told police that Davis was sending text messages around 3:30 Monday morning to another woman, and the 2 began arguing when she questioned him. Ciario locked herself in a bedroom, and when she opened the door, Davis was standing there holding a machete, according to the criminal complaint. She then told police Davis swung the machete at her and it struck the dresser nearby. Police say they found the machete under a couch inside the apartment. After an arraignment, Davis was released on $5,000 unsecured bail. Road work will begin in one township in Schuylkill County tomorrow. Our Gary Perna has more from Klein Township.
A busy roadway will be closed tomorrow as a paving project will begin in Klein Township. Tonight, the Klein Township Board of Supervisors approved True Paving to pave 3 sections of the Tresco Road.
What we'll be doing is do one section of road, there'll be 320 feet laid, and then 90 feet near the cemetery, and then it's 833 feet the Ratke Hill, from the top of the Ratke Hill down to 309. So this road was really busted up with this winter that we've had this year, and the sections that we're paving were in bad shape. So we wanted to get this section done as soon as we can, and hopefully by the end of this week will be done.
Kara said the road will be closed Tuesday and Wednesday while the paving is going on. The total cost of the project is just about $8,500. The township road crew has been busy paving and filling potholes throughout the township. According to the supervisors, about 70% of the patching has been completed already.
This month has been very, very busy for the supervisors and for the crew, the street department. Gary Sr.'s been out quite a bit of hours paving that the township did, and that's just Tresco, Silverbrook, and Haddock. Hopefully those 3 sections will be done at the end of this week, and then we'll finish up with McAdoo Heights and Claire's. Hopefully we could get that done next week.
Kara is referring to Gary Chico Perna, who is the street's foreman for the township. A total of 96 tons of material has been placed on the roadways in the township so far. Also at the meeting, the Board of Supervisors voted to sell 2 older dump trucks, an International and a Chevy dump truck, to Penn Hazel Equipment for a total of $10,155. The 2 trucks were taken out of commission by the supervisors earlier this year. In Klein Township, for WILN's Late Edition, I'm Gary Perna.
A robbery at Fritzinger Town Senior Living Community, and an employee has been arrested by the Butler Township Police Department. 28-year-old Melissa Funk of Sugarloaf was arrested by police for allegedly stealing $150 in cash and $50 in coins from a resident. Funk was employed at the center at the time of the theft. Police say she also allegedly stole $40 in cash, which was discovered during an internal investigation conducted by management. Funk was charged with theft by unlawful taking or disposition and receiving stolen property, both misdemeanors. A Hazleton woman was robbed just after 11 p.m. Sunday night walking down Alter Street. According to police, the 26-year-old woman was walking in the area of Alter and 10th Street when 2 dark-skinned males approached her, and one of them pointed a handgun at her, demanding her cell phone. When the victim complied, the suspects took her purse. They then fled on foot east towards 10th Street. The victim was not injured during the incident. Anyone with information is asked to call Hazleton Police at 570-459-4940. Eagleton police are also on the lookout for a white-colored 2004 Chevy Malibu sedan that is believed to be stolen. The car bears the PA registration plate GDC 9404. Police say the car was stolen in the 800 block of Seibert Street between 10 p.m. on Friday night and 11 a.m. Saturday morning. Anyone with information is asked to call City Police at 570-459-4940. Lake Irene in Hazel Township's community park was damaged over the weekend, and police need your help in finding those involved. State police are investigating who damaged the railing of the pier at Lake Irene and threw it into the lake. The suspect or suspects also knocked over several garbage cans and threw them along with a picnic table into the lake. Anyone with information is asked to call State Police in Hazleton at 570-459-3890. Making progress in Banks Township was the message at tonight's Banks Township Supervisors meeting. Our Gary Perna was there and has the details.
Banks Township supervisors are trying to move the township forward after the township sat idle for the last 2 years. The supervisors took action tonight to advertise for a rental property ordinance similar to ones passed by Hazleton, McAdoo, and West Hazleton. Supervisor Joe Clark said this ordinance, once in place, will keep track of those who are moving in and out of the township.
There's been some concerns and questions that people moving in and out of Banks Township, we're not sure who they are or they're coming and going. So at the behest of our solicitor, he prepared an ordinance where as you move into Banks Township, you've got to get some sort of permit. It's going to be minimal, like $5 or something, just so that we can be aware of who's in the town. Same thing when people move out. Part of the ordinance is that you would also need a $5 or $10 permit so that, again, we keep track of people who are in and out. helps us to control some of the situations that are going on within the township right now. Again, it's not meant to punish, but you have to have some controls, and this is phase one as we restore Banks Township to some credibility.
Also at the meeting, the board discussed paving intersections in the township. Clark said the areas are just getting too bad to just patch up.